What's up, guys? Mr. Nose Hoops back today with another video, and today we are talking about another new look team. This time it's not quite as high of a tier as the others, but is one that I think is super fascinating to talk about just because when these trades were made or these acquisitions, no one really said anything. It was just like, okay, this is kind of cool, and we moved on. I, however, want to kind of take a little bit of time and talk about that. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We are 3 subs away from 900, and then the march to 1K is here. So again, share this with a friend, send it around. Let's talk hoops. So without further ado, I'm talking about the new look New Orleans Pelicans, who traded away basically Dyson Daniels to get back Dejounte Murray. And now they have a team of Dejounte, Zion, and Brandon Ingram. So let's get into what I think this team's going to look like. The biggest thing here is defensively too. I think what Dejounte is going to add as a guard. Now you might say, but Emster and the Hawks, he sort of gave up defensively. I think the issue was, if we're just going to keep it real, the Hawks brought on Dejounte like he was a prime Kawhi Leonard. They basically said, you're going to come here and you're basically going to try and fix all of our defensive woes. That's not how that's going to work. Now he has a guy like Herb Jones next to him to help out on the perimeter, that it doesn't all have to go on that burden towards himself, right? Like even here on this play, Vooch is going to set the screen, right? Fakes the screen, slips, and Dejounte does a great job of reading the roll, tips the ball out, and starts transition, right? That sort of guard defense is not something they've usually had. Like even here, right, Dejounte recovering, right? Hallie gets the ball. Siakam, the only real guy he's looking at this point, cuts it off, right? And being able to stop those easy reads is something that the Pelicans, quite frankly, have always sort of struggled with when you watch them defensively. And I think giving someone like this with Herb Jones is awesome, right? Because you get Capella here. Now, I actually love something that happens right here. I love this jump, right? Because it means Dejounte recognizes like hero flashes towards Bam. He's like, okay, I'm open. Like I'm cutting. I got you. Dejounte jumps a little late to go, no. No possible little out route here going on. This ain't the NFL, buddy. You ain't no quarterback. Right? And then when Bam is stuck, right, Clinton does a good job here standing up with him. Boom, transition play, all right, going right to the rim. And then, of course, I think the biggest thing is this team finally has a good, legitimate point guard. Now, again, I understand they have a guy like CJ McCollum. He's a shooting guard at heart. He can pass and he can facilitate a little bit, but his whole thing is shooting the basketball. Now you have Dejounte. Right? He can be a primary ball handler. He can facilitate things, right? Like I love this play, right? Recovers the play. Goes, DeAndre, let's get this pick and pop. Ant fights over the screen. Basically, they go to a light trap almost. Boom. Right out to DeAndre. You're telling me it's going to be Herb Jones in a situation, Brandon Ingram, right? Bang. Wide open three. Like that's beautiful basketball. That's something that this team, quite frankly, I think has not had. That's been, it's Clippers level of like, before they got Harden and Russ, the big thing about the Clippers were everyone was like, this team is a legitimate facilitator point guard away from being something incredible. Now, I don't think it's as high of a ceiling as that those Clippers teams were, but I think it would significantly help Zion and Brandon Ingram be able to be even better at what they do, right? Even here, great job getting the ball, right? Slows it down. Right, Conley sort of sticks with him, starts to lose the ball. Now Cat comes out, traps. Now Trae Young goes to what we like to kind of call the flat, which is basically right. He's pivoting, and now Trae's here because it's the safest pass option, right? Because if he goes here to Hunter, that's thrown off. Anywhere over here, it ain't even getting through, right? Boom, Trae Young. Now that could be CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum could be the guy that recovers, gets over in the flat, bang, right? Like, that's where CJ's great. And that's where I think this team can take things to a higher level. Because, again, I think Dejounte helps this team's ceiling significantly, or floor, whichever you want to call it. Because we saw this team basically go from the 4 to 5 seed for the majority of the season until they hit this tough skid, fell to the play-in. It looked like they were ready to beat the Lakers and go play the Nuggets. Zion got hurt. Ingram was already coming off a weird injury anyways. They get decimated by the Thunder. But now we got to talk about, I think at this point, even though I like Brandon Ingram a lot more, the best player on the team, Zion, right? Zion, beautiful cut here, right? And these actions can happen more in transition now because when we see certain plays like this, boom, Val gets the ball, Ingram gets it. Right now they're going to cut him off. They're not respecting Val as a shooter necessarily. Then CJ pulls up. Now this could be Dejounte Murray. A team's going to respect that, right? Bron's not going to be able to sink off. Bang, wide open cut and dunk, right? Like those sort of opportunities are definitely, I think, going to be more involved. Even here, right, the screen. Get Hachimura. Now here, Jose, I think, kind of is struggling to figure out what the hell they want to do. But I think realistically, right, if Murray's here, right, he's going to run for this. Again, the mind of the guard, a strong, ball-heavy, dominant guard, he is going to go and get the screen action to go so that he can, I believe that's Trey Murphy, get Trey Murphy open. So at worst, if Zion's like, nah, I ain't comfortable with this. Like, this is a tough shot, by the way. Like, the result of that shot didn't matter, but I guess the idea was, like, we can even see in the games the Pelicans have, stored up from last year. I think an actual guard facilitator would be huge, right? Larry Nance does a great job here, by the way. Great pass. Or my apologies, I think I messed up the passes. But, right, even here where the play breaks down. Look how, like, scrunched in the team is. Now, to be fair, it's also because there's not a lot of time left. But again, right, like, these are tough shots, but Zion can make them. Like, Zion, I think this is the last year of can Zion be a superstar question can even be asked. If he stays healthy the entire year, and if he really turns it up, then the answer is most likely yes. If he gets hurt again, if the play middles, you have the answer to your question, right? And at that point, you're kind of screwed if you're the Pelicans. You are not happy with that question, right? But I think the next big thing you got to do, we got to talk about Zion defensively, because my biggest concern for this team is they still don't necessarily have a big, like, at all. Right, and now you got D'Lo. This is a great job, by the way, because basically Zion plays the stunt. Because he actually called over for Dyson Daniels. He goes, hey, get off of Prince. Right. Get over to D'Lo. Great timing block by Zion. And I think, unfortunately, for this team, you're going to be seeing that a lot more often. Because, quite frankly, right, even here, the patience and the wait and the poke from Zion. We've got to see defensive Zion Williamson. I'm not saying he's got to be an all-NBA caliber defender. I don't think he has the ability to be that, quite frankly. But it's funny because it's not to the same level, but it's a similar concept. It's like Jokic. The offensive production / value that player brings. Now, Zion's not the offensive player Jokic is, but the idea is, right, the rim pressure, the creation that he has. And he's a good passer. He needs a defensive guy next to him, right? So in the case of Jokic, he's got Aaron Gordon, and he had KCP, right? He had some of these guys that made Jokic's life in the paint or defending the paint way easier. Zion does not have that. Valanciunas wasn't really that good of a defender. He was actually basically just going to get you foul trouble all the time. So now you're sort of stuck in the issue of, is Zion running a small five? Who is the five man at that point? So I think their biggest issue with the Pelicans, and I think we're going to see throughout the season most likely, is their center play and how good can that make this team. And then, of course, the final one I want to talk about, Brandon Ingram. Down year for Ingram, terrible playoffs. Again, he was hurt, but at the same time, as my buddy Turkey from the Discord would say, hey, man, at some point, if you get out there and play, I got to hold you accountable to it. Now, this is where I think Ingram's value is at its best. Bang. Catch and shoot. Right? Dejounte's going to love that shit. Like, part of my language, but he's going to love it. Like, those are the sort of plays, guys like Dejounte, they love to make those plays. Even here, I love this. Swing. And this is going to be so much more common because this could be Dejounte. You could have Dejounte, Herb, Trey Murphy, right? Bang. One more. There's B.I., right? I think this team is like a mini big three. Like, I don't think they're really like a dangerous big three, but I think they're a little like, they can make a little run. Even here, right? Ingram slows it down. Isaiah Joe sort of gets stuck there by the, the free throw line, goes to help out Trey Murphy, gets the ball over. They trap him basically. Bang, wide open in the corner, right? I think Brandon Ingram and Zion, we sort of seen, they're great tertiary/secondary ball handler playmakers. I do not think that they are at their best as a primary ball handler playmaker. They are at their best when they can do it a little bit, but there's not a major ask from them, right? Even in this situation, gets Valanciunas, right? Comes over, Chet jumps, Shea sunk into the zone, bang, right? Like, that is great as a second to third playmaker. So, of course, the question of the video, right? How good is this team really? I think this team has two likely destinations. They will unfortunately either run the gambit again of they are the 7th to 8th seed and they are back into the play-in and they are most likely going to go out in the first round. However, I also think somehow, I don't know how, they can go on a sneaky little run and get to like the 6 or the 5 seed. Right? Just because this team offensively could be something really freaking special. And the question is, how good would the defense be? Well, the defense was already pretty good with no real center. So if you add Dejounte Murray, you have Herb Jones, you got Trey Murphy, Brandon Ingram, like, they can really make something happen here. Now, I hope at the trade deadline they try to acquire a big. And again, that's easier said than done. But I think this team could be the farthest they would get is like the second round, maybe a conference finals on like a Pacers kind of timing. Like, if things really fall into place, New Orleans can make a run. I think at their best, they're a second round exit, which, considering that this team has barely been in the playoffs because either Zion, BI, or both have been hurt, that would be a huge improvement. And I think that's part of the reason they did this move for Dejounte of like, hey guys, is this even like viable anymore? Like, this whole Zion era, whatever you want to call it, like, is this even good? And we'll see. So let me know what you guys think down below. How good will the New Orleans Pelicans be this coming year? Do you think they're a playoff team? Do you think they're back in the play-in? Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, this was Answer Knows Hoops. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace out.